Welcome into the Rock Pod, presented by the Royal Oak, Michigan Chamber of Commerce. I am John Gay from Jagged Detroit Podcasts.
I am Elisa Bibby, your local neighborhood realtor with Keller Williams Advantage.
And I am Andrea Arndt, an attorney at Dickinson Wright.
Very excited for today's guest. It is summertime, it is baseball season, and the Royal Oak Leprechauns season is underway for the last 2 weeks or so now. Quick disclaimer, we are recording this on May 31st, the day before the season starts. We want to welcome Mark Sackett, the GM of the Leprechauns, to the podcast. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you. Thanks for having me and having our program here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got started?
It's a long, boring story, but to put it in a nutshell, we had a summer collegiate team that was local, and it was basically kind of more rec-based, and nothing wrong with rec-based, but it was basically guys show and go. We had an opportunity in 2015 to jump into the Great Lakes Collegiate League. This is the second oldest nonprofit league in the country. It's right behind a league out of Boston, Massachusetts, the Cape Cod League, where a lot of great MLB players play. So Great Lakes was a good option for us. It was somewhat of an expensive option, but we jumped into it, and we based our team out of Adrian, Michigan. And as we know, Adrian, Michigan's kind of the Irish Hills area. So we became the Irish Hills Leprechauns. And that was our first start. Our first season was 2016. We went 3 seasons in Adrian, great fields, but everybody went to the lake in the summertime, and we didn't really see many people hanging out at the ball field. And we did okay, and the team did good, but from a financial standpoint, we weren't doing well. So we started looking for a new home. Actually, our commissioner suggested us look for a new home. And one of the things, the first person I ran into was the Royal Oak Parks and Rec director, John Fideli. And John heard about my idea. We met with him at the field, and he was just so supportive of what we wanted to do. And we saw so many great opportunities right here at Memorial Park. But the biggest problem at Memorial Park was that it was just old and very tired. That was the fall of 2018. And then we're ready to start raising money. We got the approval from the city commission. I believe it was the fall of 2019. And we're just ready to go. And we're out looking for money, supporters, and people who believe in what we've got. And then March of 2020 hit, and we all know what happened there.
Yeah.
So that was a tough time. But then finally, December of 2020, one of my former players contacted me. He had found out about our gig, and he said, "This is a great idea. I'd really like to be part of it if you would like me to." And this person was DJ LeMahieu. He is a infielder from the New York Yankees. So DJ played for me in 2007 on our fall program. So I've always known him. He was the same age as my kids. And he wanted to get involved, and I'm like, we'd love to have you. So DJ committed to lending me $350,000. We turfed the infield here at Memorial Park. We put up a temporary fence in the outfield. And then on top of that, I made some commitments of some personal commitments and belief in what our future held by putting in a new scoreboard, which is about a $60,000 venture.
Wow.
We bought a $30,000 bus that was to allow our guys to travel in comfort. And we're off and running. We finished this field last year at Memorial Park on June 3rd. I mean, we got all the seats done, the deck built, the media deck built and everything on June 3rd. Our first game was June 4th. So it was an exciting opening day, but it was a crazy time. And we saw over 15,000 fans last summer. So that's kind of where we're at.
Mark, it's funny, you mentioned the Cape Cod League a few minutes ago. I grew up in Massachusetts, so I'm familiar with the Cape Cod League. And it's amazing that DJ LeMahieu is a former player of yours and made that contribution. So it is with mixed emotions as a Massachusetts native that I want to give a New York Yankee credit, but credit where credit is due for helping get the thing up and running. Obviously, our listeners on a podcast can't see, but you are set up right outside on the deck with the backstop in the field behind you. And the field and the seats and everything looks absolutely incredible for anybody who hasn't driven by it, at least at any point this year. It looks like a great spot for enjoy a summer day and a summer ball game.
Without a doubt, it's getting better all the time. We've, our commitment is, as a nonprofit, we're looking to make money, but to reinvest it in the park.
Yeah.
And not only for ourselves, but for all the Parks and Rec organization, for the travel teams that come in and want to play games. So, so it's great. So like I said, we're raising the money to reinvest in the community, and that's our goal.
Yeah, your field looks absolutely amazing behind you. And I was curious because we've heard about themed nights throughout the year. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
We wanted to, again, how do we get the community involved, and how do we get the different groups coming in? Once people see the game and see the atmosphere that we provide, they really have a good time here. I mean, we've got cheap beer. We've got cheap food, but it's good food. And we've got a couple partners this year with our Tania's Pizzas joining us for selling pizza here at the park. Like I said, we do have the beer and pop and everything, so it'll be good for the kids. We've got a snow cone lady. So there's some really good atmosphere for the families to come. So what we wanted to do is we created these theme nights. We have a bark in the park. We have a policeman's night. We have a firefighter's night. We're going to have a Star Wars night because you get all kinds of different people when it comes to Star Wars. There are some people who are real big Star Wars fans, and some people have seen the first one like myself, and that's it. So our goal was to have themes and to contact various groups and have them come and enjoy a night at the park.
So does this mean everybody gets to dress up in costumes when they come?
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? Yeah, well, if people want to come and dress in a costume, whether it be a Star Wars thing or one of our games we have is Princess Night. So we're hoping all our princesses show up.
Yes.
And we have a young lady named Taylor. Her company is Tailored Events. She'll dress up in a couple different characters. They'll be here doing face paintings and just giving a lot of little extras to the kids that come to the ball game.
Do you have a kids club or anything?
We do. That's a great question. Thank you. We do have a kids club. Last year, we just signed up anybody, no charge. They didn't get much. This year, we do a kids club. It's only $25. They get free admission to every game. We've got about 9 different nights where they're going to receive some sort of a gift. They're going to get a fidget spinner. They're going to get a pop-it thing. They're going to get a free snow cone. They're going to get something. So I think really for our kids night and our kids club, we actually kind of lose money. But more importantly, we want to bring the kids out to the park. DJ LeMahieu, one of the things he said is we want to have the youth, the younger kids come to the games because those little kids look up to the big kids. Yeah. And then that's when they aspire to do that. And with all our kids being college athletes, we want our kids to aspire to continue their education and maybe continue playing ball in college. And it's not just a 4-year college. We have a lot of junior college kids. We have a lot of kids in an NAIA program, as well as the NCAA kids.
See, that's an important point of differentiation. We were talking about this before we started recording, Mark. So I know a lot of people may be confused between what you're doing there in Royal Oak versus the professionally that's up at Jimmy John's Field in Utica. Now, the difference is the Utica players are paid professionals. You have amateur college players. Can we clear that up a little bit?
Yeah, that's 100% correct. Any kid, any player on our team must have college eligibility. There are a lot of our players who will play for us that will go on to play in the USPBL out in Utica.
Okay.
Matter of fact, one of our players was just drafted by Minnesota. He played with the Irish Hills Leprechauns back in 2018, and then he graduated from college. He was pitching out at Utica, and he just recently signed with the Minnesota Twins. So it's we're kind of a stepping stone to get to that major league level.
It's not really a competition. You're 2 different sets of things, but either way, you can go out to the ballpark and enjoy a nice night out.
Without a doubt. And I think that we're conveniently located right at one of the busiest intersections in the state of Michigan. I think our prices are very fair. I mean, with a $5 general admission, $7 reserve seat, the beer's only $5 or $6. Pop is hot dogs, $2-3, whatever.
So slightly less than Comerica Park, you're saying?
Yeah. You could probably come to about 5 of our games compared to Comerica Park, but the salaries are a little bit higher out in Comerica Park. So
yeah, that's fair. You got to charge for those beers to pay those salaries.
That's right.
How can someone become a sponsor or partner in helping you guys fund this?
Yeah, that's something we really rely on quite a bit. So in order to keep our ticket prices low and in order to provide all the services we want to provide our players, we really try to promote the community as much as possible. We say sponsorship. We really like to say more partnership. We would like to partner with people. We had a realtor call us the other day and say, hey, I'd like to get involved. And he goes, can I set up a tent? And we said, sure, you can set up a tent and help promote your business. So we want to do as whatever we can. Henry Ford Health Systems, which has made a huge impact in Royal Oak with their brand new building downtown Royal Oak, they put their name on our scoreboard. And they not only that, though, besides their name on the scoreboard, they're also going to do a blood drive with us for one of our games. We've got another sponsor, Jim Schaefer and Associates is a realtor in Royal Oak, and he's doing some things with us and bringing his crew in with us. And then, of course, we have banner sponsorships on our outfield fence. How do they come a sponsor? Well, you just give us a call. Come to a game, talk to myself. Our media public relations director is Rocky Shattuck. Either one of us would love to talk to you about the different opportunities we have that can benefit us and benefit our program. But most importantly to me is to benefit your business.
So with vendors, do they have to vend at every single game, or can you have special vendors just at specific games?
Whatever games you'd like to come to. Are you talking about sponsorships? You're saying a sponsor?
Yes,
Sure,
correct.
they could come to, that's something that we could work out. One of our neighbors is Smoothie King, and they're doing a sponsorship with us, and we've given them an opportunity to sell their smoothies right inside of our park for about 5 games. I mean, it was all done based on how much of a sponsorship they wanted to do. So they put their name on the back of our tickets, and they're going to also sell smoothies at our park for whatever games they want to do.
Well, that sounds exciting. I know at my firm we have the summer associates that have just joined for a few months. So maybe we'll have to sponsor an event. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'd love to have you out. We've got some big plans. We've got some areas we want to make a couple decks, corporate decks, so to speak, where you can bring in your company and bring in a group of your people and have an outing right at our park. We got the beer license, so we're good there. But we want to build these special areas so people can get right up close to the game and watch the game or just hang out and just have a celebration for your office or for your crew.
So, Mark, you mentioned the Princess Night, Star Wars Night. Confession, my wife and I watched the original Star Wars for the first time ever last week. What other promotions do you have going on throughout the season? I know this is such a big part of baseball and all these different theme nights, whether you're talking the major leagues or on down. So many different things I'd imagine you got planned for the upcoming season, even if it's short season.
Right. Well, the theme nights are basically, obviously, it's the theme for the night. But once you get to the ballpark, I'm a baseball purist. I mean, I like watching the game. I like watch where guys move, how they handle cutoffs, and how the different strategies involved. But not a lot of people are like that, and they come for the entertainment. So what we do is in between every inning, we have a different contest, and we get the fans involved. We bring them on the field. One of our contests is meal or no meal. We have 3 briefcases, and we walk on the field. We find a fan and say, hey, we're going to give you a free hot dog at the concession stand. Or one of these cases has a $50 gift certificate for Rock on Third or one of the restaurants in Royal Oak. What do you want to do? You want the free hot dog? You want the $50 certificate? So they got to guess and, make their risk there.
As someone who dressed up as Howie Mandel on Halloween for a number of occasions, I certainly appreciate that promotion.
Yeah, I can see the resemblance. So, no, and then we also do, we have a big bubble ball. We put on 2 different people, have a race, and they run into each other. And one of my fun ones I want to do this year is we're going to put a $20 bill on the ground, and we're going to find an adult, and we're also going to put a certificate for like free beer. And we're going to put, something like a squish ball, and we'll put a blindfold on them and say, okay, you got 20 seconds, crawl around on the ground and see what you can find. And it's always fun to see an adult crawl around and see if they can find something on the ground. And then our last one we got, Woodward Market, was great. They're giving us their little kids buggies, shopping buggies. And we're going to use that, have a little contest with kids, and they're going to see how many pieces of items they can pick up the ground on their way. So to a little contest and race. And anytime we get kids involved, that'll be a good thing.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you let them run around the bases afterwards?
Yeah, definitely. So we have a Race the Mascot contest as well. So we'll bring both kid or adult out there, and they're going to run around, race the mascot. Then at the end of the game, all of our players will stay on the field, and that we want the kids to come out. And the turf field's kind of a real special thing. So we'll get kids out there, and they'll run the bases and high five our players and get their autographs and whatever else they need. So.
Oh, fun.
We really want our players to interact with the community. At the end of June, we have a Leprechaun camp, and our players will be working that camp so that the kids can come out and be at the camp with the players.
Oh, very full. Do you need help with internships or any other kind of volunteer programs?
Sure, I would love it, especially that volunteer stuff. You know what? I've made a lot of contacts with a lot of sport management programs throughout the state. Even we put it on a national website where any kids who are interested in sports management, they can come and they can apply for an internship with us, and we would hire them in and give them that experience of what it's like to run a minor league baseball operation. And so we do have a lot of sport management interns this year. We have a kid all the way from Pennsylvania that came in. Last year we had a kid from Boston. He went to UConn. He came in and helped us out. So We try to get those involved. But we need more help. I mean, obviously to keep our costs down. So we're always looking for any kind of volunteers, whether that means serving beer or, serving hot dogs or whatever. We'll take any kind of free help we can.
Well, it sounds amazing for people who want to get involved. And speaking of getting involved, you're doing a lot of partnering with the community, such as food drives and blood drives. Can you talk to us a little bit about some of the events that you have planned at the park this year?
Henry Ford is connected with us for the blood drive. We're hoping to do that. We have talked with the Royal Oak Animal Shelter, and they're going to be coming in and do some things on our Bark in the Park night.
Great.
As for everything else, we're still open to bringing more people in here to try to help, promote our ball game, promote our program. We have a Veterans Night going to be coming up, and we're going to recognize the veterans, and we'll recognize veterans every night, but more specifically, the July 3rd game, all of our players will be wearing special hats, and we'll have some of those hats for sale at the park so that we can recognize the Independence Day. There's some politicians that have contacted us and said, hey, we got an election coming up this year. Can we And I said, well, you can come out here just as long as we have both sides of the party. We don't want to take a political stand on anything.
Oh, right.
So we want we would like to recognize both parties or however many people want to be participants.
As a former radio guy, when election season came, that was big bucks for us coming from both sides. So absolutely lean into that.
Right. We'll try. The point is I'm a big fan of voting. I'm an elementary school teacher. We try to promote involvement in your community and things. So, but we just want to make sure that we're very unbiased and we bring everybody out here, let everyone voice their opinion and let people make their own choices. That's what we like to do.
Absolutely. Mark, you mentioned being an elementary school teacher in Royal Oak, and thank you for doing what you do. Teachers are always underappreciated. You have that job during the school year. You have the Leprechauns GM gig in the summertime, and I know sometimes there's a little bit of crossover between the two. We always ask our guests what they do for fun in their spare time, but I guess my first question is, do you have any?
Well, this leprechaun thing has become a year-round thing. We started working on this stuff when our season ended. I had basically August to do cleanup stuff, then back to school in September. I do teach in Troy, but even though I'm a big fan of Royal Oak.
Oh, okay. My apologies.
Oh, no big deal. So we started working in September. It turns kind of year-round. But, I got 2 boys and I've got 3 grandkids, and they're on the west side of the state. So when we have free time, we're spending time with our families, and, they've all been involved in helping us put this whole thing together. So yeah, there's not much free time, but work is what I like to do. So it's all good, especially when it involves kids.
Now it is time for our fishbowl question of the day, where we pull a totally random question for you. So John, can you pull the fishbowl question?
Okay, this is a good one. All right, our random question for you today, Mark. What animal is the biggest party animal?
I gotta believe the Tasmanian devil, isn't it?
That might be the quickest answer we've ever had to a fishbowl question of the day. You were on it just like that.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I see him being a crazy person.
Mark, you've given us some great information about the Leprechauns. We're really thrilled to come out to some games this summer. It's going to be a great experience, and it's right here in Royal Oak in our community. If folks want to know more about the Leprechauns, phone number, website, best ways to contact the team.
Right. Probably the best thing is info@leprechaunball.com, as that's our email address. It's kind of our general email address. You've also got our website, which is royaloakleprechauns.com. The challenge will be for you to spell that if you can. And then otherwise, we do have a cell number there that you can always call and leave a message. It's 248-930-0388.
Thank you so much for coming on, Mark. And if you guys are looking for a pot of gold, you may not find a pot of gold, but you're definitely going to find a great baseball game. My name is Lisa Bibby. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams Advantage, and I put the real back in realtor. Looking to buy or sell your home, purchase an investment property, or even start an Airbnb? You can find me on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Sold by Lisa B.
I am Andrea Arndt. I'm an intellectual property attorney at Dickinson Wright, and I help my clients protect their inventions and build their brands. You can find me on LinkedIn and on our firm's website, www.dickinsonwright.com.
I am John Gay from Jag in Detroit Podcast. For help creating a podcast or improving your existing show, or any questions you ever have at all about podcasts, you can find me on social at Jag in Detroit or on my website, jagindetroit.com. Also want to shout out the 4th member of our team, Trish Caruth, 3rd-generation jeweler and owner of Your Personal Jeweler, specializing in creating custom engagement wedding rings and fine jewelry. You can find her on Instagram and Facebook at The Personal Jeweler or on her website, thepersonaljeweler.com. We want to thank you for listening to this episode of The Rock Pod, presented by the Royal Oak, Michigan Chamber of Commerce. If you're interested in being part of the podcast, if you're interested in being a guest, we are looking for guests for the second half of 2022. You can just send us an email, therockpod@gmail.com. That's TheRoccpod@gmail.com. Thanks for being here, Mark, and thanks, everyone.